Hello everyone, it's Infinity Gamer here, and in this video I'm going to be talking to you about Durgama Takeover, the online narrative campaign being run by Corvus Belli in conjunction with On Tabletop. So what is the Durgama Takeover, and what is a narrative campaign when one's at home? This in particular is a set of missions and a map that has been set up by Corvus Belli and is being run through On Tabletop's war console that enables you to run an online campaign where multiple people from around the world can take part, log their battles, and influence the state of the map and interact with each other, which I think is incredibly cool. Corvus Belli have kind of said that the results of this Durgama Takeover might influence the lore of the human sphere going forward, which would be very exciting if that is the case. You can play this no matter whether you're playing N4 or Code 1. Both are eligible to influence the shape of this campaign itself, and you can play in real life games, or you can play on Tabletop Simulator and log those games too. It basically doesn't matter how you're playing Infinity, you can influence this narrative campaign. So what is the state of the Durgama Takeover? Well, this actually ties in with what we know from the N4 lore, the Raven Eye book, and pretty much where the human sphere is at right now. The Raven Eye complex, the satellite above Concilium Prima, has been identified by the Combined Army as a key part of the human sphere's defense of the planet itself. Now, the Combined Army potentially are looking to find a near mythical, I think it's an artifact being held in, again, a rumoured place called the Penny Arcade. We don't have a lot of information around what they're looking for, whether it exists, whether the Penny Arcade is anything more than a myth, but the Combined Army are convinced that it exists and they want to find it, and they realise that the way to do that is to not only have ground control on Concilium Prima, but to also take out the Raven Eye station, the satellite, the secret O12 communications outpost hovering over Concilium Prima. Now, different factions have been charged with protecting different parts of both the land bases, but also the Raven Eye satellite station itself. Now, in typical human sphere fashion, even though the humans, and Toha, so the Human Sphere Alliance, are facing an imminent threat from the alien invaders, that doesn't stop them from also looking out for themselves and trying to gain an advantage during this time of confusion and panic. So, whereas we started the Durgama campaign with very set ideas of who should be looking after and defending their various stations from the combined threat of the Combined Army, that hasn't meant the map hasn't shifted as different factions have looked after their own interests. So this was the map as we started the campaign. Different sections ideally being protected by different aspects of the human sphere. And this is the state of things as they are at the time of this video. As you can see, there has been some infighting within the human sphere, unsurprisingly. Yujing, the dirty state empire, is trying to overthrow the true rightful power of Pan-Oceania, and is doing so to great effect down on the planet itself. Hackislam have successfully defended their base against all attackers, and the Nomads, unsurprisingly, doing very well in space on the Raven Eye satellite itself. Aleph seem to be doing fairly well on land, but no real threat from the Combined Army, who are just doing random attacks across the entire sector. That might change with Phase 2, because at the time of me doing this video, Phase 1 is basically coming to an end, and we're about to enter the Phase 2 section of the online campaign. But before I go any further, what is a narrative campaign? How do I get involved? And what's the purpose of it, really? Looking at this, the online campaign is a way for your real-life battles, or your battles on Tabletop Simulator, to influence the story and to be played against each other and to change the shape of the human sphere itself. So Corvus Belli have launched this as a way to progress the narrative campaign by having player involvement to shape the storyline itself. Now, what that looks like is, as I've said, a map that they have put out there, key missions and a rough strategy and threat. The missions themselves are slight adaptations on the ones that we know and love from ITS Season 13, but don't let me put you off by saying things like ITS Season 13, because as I've said already, it doesn't matter whether you're playing N4 or Code 1, your battles can influence this campaign. Now, Corvus Belli have confirmed that Code 1 battles are also able to be logged within here. So how do you play? How do you influence the outcome of this battle? Well, you look at the area where you want to fight, you look at the mission that involves. There are several modifications on these missions versus the ITS Season 13's one. So for example, the mission I played, which was Down on the Land, is an adaptation of the Armory. What that meant was that we were pretty much playing the Armory, but there were 3 new adapted rules to be added onto that. One of them was jungle terrain. So anything with jungle terrain and terrain total got +1 inch move to its standard first inch move to basically bring in the fact that that base is in the jungle. Then we had unlimited ammo, pretty much. So because we've been playing in an armory with ammo caches lying around the place and just stockpiles of ammunition everywhere, anything that has disposable traits like mines, Panzerfausts, Splitzens, anything like that was unlimited because you could basically just walk around the corner and pick up a new one. I like that, you know, it's very into where we're playing and what's going on, but it really harmed me in the mission. And then we're playing close confines, so because we're in a complex and a compound, things like anything with a blast template weapon or a direct template weapon got +1 damage, so mines, heavy flamethrower or flamethrowers, things like that. All of this was really good because it changed the dynamic of that mission and you maybe lent towards different units that you haven't played before to benefit from this mission. So yeah, that was really cool. I played a Eugene player. Unfortunately, I lost. It was 6-3 to him. The unlimited Blitzens really damaging me as he immobilised my Teutonic Knights, who were moving 1 inch further, thanks to that jungle rule. But it was great fun, nice little change on a mission that some of us were familiar with. So then what happens when you play your mission and how does that influence the campaign? Well, initially you sign up to play for a faction, ideally. And if you're playing a sectorial, like I was playing military orders, you sign up for the main faction itself. So I was playing for Pan-Oceania, even though I was playing a military orders sectorial. At the end of the mission, you write up a battle report that's at least 150 words, you add in some photos, and you upload it into the war console. Other people can then read your battle report, and they can rate it, they can upvote it, and that gets logged towards the fights that have happened at that location. So my Eugene counterpart, so he earned 3 points for his success and his victory over me at that location, which then swings the balance of power towards a player. Now, I'm not entirely sure whether it's directly those 3 points went towards the 3 points of that, but the outcomes do impact who owns that station and the balance of power. And you can see that balance of power quite easily, and you can even click in and see individual battle reports, you can see individual players, you can see what they've been doing. There's also a forum section so that your faction can talk about strategy, you can talk to each other about how you should be playing things, where your next attack should be. So it's a very interactive element and it's great fun to be involved with. You as a commander earn XP or experience by commenting on other people's stuff, by uploading battle reports, by earning certain scores, and that actually combines to your commander profile. Now, from what I've read, because a couple of the guys I've been playing with, they were part of the Asteroid Blues campaign previously, their XP and everything carried across to the new campaign. So it's never too early to start, and you don't lose everything at the end of this one. It's likely to carry across to the next one. Everything's to play for. We're about to enter the Phase 2 section of Durgama Takeover, and it's not too late for you to play. Just because you didn't play in Phase 1 doesn't mean you can't play in Phase 2. So if you are interested in a narrative campaign, if you do want your battles at home or on TTS to influence the story and the narrative of Infinity itself, then sign up. Do a brief battle report of what you're doing, maybe focus on a particular base that's important to your faction, and yeah, just try and influence the game, I guess, directly. It's very cool. I do wish Corvus Belli did more of this because while it's fun playing weekly just to hone your skills and to play a mission, these narrative campaigns add, to me, a huge extra dimension on the game that we know and love and we enjoy playing. So please, Corvus Belli, do more of these. Let them last longer than 2 weeks so that we can get a few games in. But thank you also for running this one. I'm really into the N4 lore at the moment, the Raven Eye add-on, where everything's heading. Very excited to see where this goes. And to everyone who's contributing to the Pano efforts in this campaign, come on, We need to pull this out of the bag. We can't let the filthy state empire take us over. Notice also that probably next week I'll be playing a different faction, not for this campaign, but just in general. And so we'll be hating on Pan Oceania. But right now, while I'm playing military orders, come on, we can do this. I know we can. Thank you everyone for watching this video. Hopefully it's been helpful for you understanding what Durgama Takeover is, what a narrative campaign from Corpus Belli looks like in general, and hopefully inspires you to give it a go and have a brief look at it. Thanks so much for watching. Really do appreciate it. And I'll be back soon with another video.